I like to, a lot of times if I'm working on, some sort of an education or spend a little time doing a little more deeper thinking, I'll put headphones on, I'll just walk around a little bit, try to stretch my legs, just put myself in different environments because I find that just sitting in front of my computer and staring at it, I can certainly get, a task done, but it doesn't really engage parts of my brain to just think about some bigger picture strategic things.
Welcome to Connected Conversations, the official podcast of Kosciusko Connect. Kosciusko Connect is a subsidiary of Kosciusko REMC. Since 2021, we have been providing fast, reliable, fiber-to-the-home internet service to rural portions of northern Indiana. On Connected Conversations, we talk about fiber internet, technology, community, and how to navigate the digital world in which we live. I am your host, Laura Cini. Thank you for connecting with us today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Connected Conversations. Today in studio, we have guest Brad Gutwein, who is a local Kosciusko Connect customer. He sometimes works from home, and we have invited him on today to talk about his work from home experience as a Connect customer. Hello, Brad. How are you doing today?
Hey, doing well.
Awesome. Thank you for being willing to come in today and talk to us. What do you do for a living, and how often do you work from home?
Yeah, great question. So I work at Winona IT. We're a local IT service provider. So what that entails is essentially providing IT service, help desk, IT support for local companies. I've been with the company for a little over 5 years. In that time, we've grown from about 10 when I started to just about 70. So it's been a pretty quick growth. I really manage our help desk team and our infrastructure team, just making sure that we're delivering high quality service for our customers and taking care of their IT needs. My role is largely in the office, but I certainly work from home at times, just depending on what I have on my calendar, if I have a lot of meetings or something like that. So probably a couple times a month, I would say on average, I would typically be able to work from home.
That's awesome. I've heard lots of good things about Winona IT through the community.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
What led you to start working from home?
I mean, I think like everybody, pandemic happened and we all went home, and then we kind of really revised a lot of our processes to be able to be a little more streamlined working from home. IT support, you can do a lot of it remotely. So I think that was a big part of it. And then really just, needing a space, a lot of focus time, a lot of times just, a lot of people in the office, a lot of questions, a lot of things pop up. And so it is nice to be able to kind of work in a separate location, have an ability to step out of the usual day-to-day and just be able to focus on some things that require a lot of maybe thinking or some more complex operations of some kind.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Do you offer the option to work from home for all of your employees or just some of you? How does that structured?
Yeah, so we try to be flexible. So there's some departments, for instance, our help desk team, primarily in the office. So we really try to have that high touch personal engagement with our customers. And so the bulk of them report to the office every day. They'll go out, kind of visit a lot of customers, really a lot of hands-on activity. And then a lot of other departments, it is a bit of a hybrid approach. So some folks have a couple of work from home days. Most are in the office. We do have a software development part of our company. A lot of them are primarily remote. So it does depend on the workflow, the workload, kind of the function of the role. But we do try to be flexible and really kind of strike a balance between the collaboration you get in the office versus the focus you can get at home.
That makes sense. And I think a lot of companies have found that works well and provides a nice balance.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice balance because I think you get some of the benefits of both, kind of trying to, play both sides there a little bit.
And that makes sense. What does a typical work from home day look like for you?
Yeah, so my work from home day, typically it's, I'll just start in the morning. Mornings are usually the best time. I have 4 young boys at home, so 10, 7, 5, and 3. So as you can imagine, it's quite an exciting time in the morning. They're all getting up and ready to go. So yeah, usually I'll just try to spend a little time with them and then really just try to get my setup going. Again, depending on what I have, either a mix of meetings or just focus time, I'll really just try and get right to it. I try to, book out my day at least in advance, maybe the day before. And so I've usually already established what I'm going to be working on. And that helps me get right into it because it oftentimes can be pretty distracting. Just, so having a focus to what I'm going to work on and then really working through a list has been very helpful for me.
That makes sense. That is a very practical and useful task management approach.
Yeah, otherwise you just get so distracted and bogged down and you don't really end up getting anything. So yeah, I try to be as focused as I can going into it for sure.
That makes sense. Do you have a home office or work from home space?
Man, I used to back when we were all remote a couple years ago. I did have a little space downstairs that I had set up, and it was had a lot of the setup. Now that I do most of my work in the office, my space is just a corner in one of the bedrooms with a table that I haul up there. So it's definitely a very temporary space. I wouldn't say it's anything permanent, but it works. For the amount of time I'm there, it does a pretty good job for me.
Nice. If you could upgrade your work from home space with any one feature, what would it be?
Yeah, kind of like I mentioned, having just a folding table and a chair is a little bit Spartan for my taste. So it'd be great to have a little more of a setup, a little more of a dedicated space. Again, the trade-off is a lot of our space is where the kids are. So my basement became kind of the toy area. So there's usually stuff everywhere. There's a lot of noise. And so not really practical to use that space. So yeah, I think even just a dedicated desk with some stuff would be great at some point. But again, kind of being as fluid as I am with sometimes working remote, most of the time being in the office, I just haven't really taken the initiative to get that stuff set up yet.
That makes sense. I fall into the same problem of looking at my desk every day and being like, oh, I should really clean up or add some decor or make it look nicer.
For sure. Yep.
Do you have any fun work from home habits?
Yeah, I really like to walk around. A lot of times I'm in the office. I have a small little office. Kind of get weird looks from folks if you just walk around looking at people's desks and different workspaces. So yeah, I like to. A lot of times if I'm working on some sort of an education or I'm trying to think about something or spend a little time doing a little more deeper thinking, I'll put headphones on. I'll just walk around a little bit, try to stretch my legs, just put myself in different environments because I find that just sitting in front of my computer and staring at it, I can certainly get a task done, but it doesn't really engage parts of my brain to just think about some bigger picture strategic things. So yeah, just walking around. Sometimes I'll walk downstairs, obviously grab a snack, whatever, but just trying to be a little more mobile than I normally would be definitely helps me a lot when I'm at home.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What's playing in the background while you work? Do you have a podcast, music?
This podcast 100%, but
we love to hear it.
Hey, yeah, I've never been great at focusing on what I have to work on kind of while there's, a lot going on in the background. So, if I'm trying to work on something that requires a lot of thinking, a lot of times I'll just have nothing. If I do have something, it'll be, kind of maybe an instrumental or something a little more quiet. If I really need to get myself energized, a lot of times in the afternoon, I'll put on maybe some electronic EDM, something that has an upbeat beat, but again, doesn't have necessarily something I have to focus on because I find that if I'm listening to a podcast or a video, I'm just not able to focus on what I'm supposed to be focusing on. So kind of a mix depending on the day and just how I'm feeling at the time.
That makes sense. What has been the biggest challenge of working from home for you?
Yeah, I think for me personally, and I alluded to a little earlier, I think it's separating, the space between home and work. So obviously my kids are young. They don't understand why sometimes I'm home and sometimes I'm not. And so it's trying to balance, wanting to, spend time with them a little bit, but also take advantage of the opportunity to be a little bit outside of the office to be able to focus on things. And so, yeah, it's just balancing the fact that they want to say hi, they want to bust in, they want to talk to me. They don't understand that I am actually working because I don't do it as frequently. And so trying to just understand a nice way to tell them, hey, I do need to get some things done. So you can't just sit up here and, do loud things the whole time I'm here. But again, trying to balance that, I think it's been challenging, but getting used to it a little bit more the more I end up doing it.
That makes sense. Yes. Being at home and having kids and pets and dogs and chores and other distractions can be challenging for sure.
Yep. They just want to be part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Can't blame them for that. What devices do you typically have connected throughout the day?
Yeah, so typically when I work from home, I don't have a lot. I usually just have my laptop and maybe my, my phone just for, whatever prompts I need there. So pretty small footprint for my personal working. As far as what we have, pretty standard stuff. I am an IT nerd, so I of course have some, smart home things. I've got lights that you can turn on with your voice and different things that drive my wife nuts because I can change them and then they stop working and she can't change them. So that's the type of stuff I have. Some smart TVs, iPads, things like that. So again, fairly regular stuff overall, I would say.
Makes sense. Why did you choose Kosciusko Connect as your service provider?
Yeah, really. Again, we're in the area, so they already were my electric company. And so when they advertised it, I just really liked the offering. I liked the fact that it was, fiber option. I like local. I was working with a big national large company that, probably knew who I was based on the number. And then transitioning to just a, smaller company where I know the folks around. It's just a little more local and just, contributing to that, I think was a really good opportunity. And then just, again, the service has been great. And being able to go to a really nice fiber connection has been really good for just overall in general.
It's great to hear. I think most Kosciusko Connect customers share that sentiment of they like having their internet from a company that is local.
For sure.
Run by people.
Yeah.
They're friends and neighbors sometimes.
Absolutely.
How has the service impacted your work from home experience?
I would say it hasn't impacted me at all. And I say that in a good way. What I mean by that is, I work in IT, so we get a lot of complaints. We're the ones typically that go out and fix the connectivity problem. So it's been great. There's really been no issues. Every time I need it, it works. It's reliable. So again, impact to me is really nothing because it's exactly what I expected. It delivers, it's consistent, it's fast. There's really no issues. So yeah, it's been a really good experience overall for me.
That is great to hear. No impact or not even noticing that it exists or it's not something that's actively on your mind is such a good thing because it
Yeah,
means you're not having problems or issues
for sure.
with it at all.
Yeah.
How was the setup process for internet with Kosciusko Connect?
Yeah, it was really smooth. So I think I remember hearing about it, and then there was maybe a sign up process. Again, I can't remember all the steps. So I signed up, and then I got a call from someone here at the company. I got a couple details, and then I had an install date set. I actually think it was actually moved maybe up a couple weeks too. So I was like, hey, we're actually free earlier. All the lines had been ran. So the day of, 2 techs showed up. It was very, very smooth. They just ran the line to my house. Of course, being in IT, I had nerded out a little bit and created a little spot where I wanted the fiber. So they're like, oh, that sounds good. We'll put it wherever you want. And so they were really nice, ran it through the attic down a little space I'd already created. And so really when they showed up to when it was live, it was really probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And then I was up and running on it very quickly. So yeah, really smooth. And again, contrasting with some of the other providers that can be, hey, we'll be there at some point in the next month and, just hopefully you're around type of thing. So yeah, really appreciate it. It was very smooth and very hassle-free overall.
That's awesome. Our fiber technicians definitely do a really great job and they know what they're doing and they get it done well and they get it done quickly.
Yeah, it was great.
Would you recommend Kosciusko Connect to a friend working remotely and why?
Yeah, I definitely would. Like I said, it's been a great experience for me. Can't recall that I've had an outage, knock on wood. Now that I say it, we probably will. But no, it's been great. And so I definitely, we're support a lot of local businesses. And so, the business side even is one that we'll definitely recommend a lot if it's within the service area. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's been great for us and definitely hope it continues to expand.
Great. That is our goal as well. What advice would you give to someone who is starting out working from home?
Yeah, in my experience, and again, alluded to it earlier a little bit with the kids, but I think it's so important to just be able to separate, honestly, mentally the space, because again, I think there's a natural separation when you get in your car, drive to the office, you've kind of got, this is where I am mentally at work, and then home is different. And so what I notice a lot is when I am home, the space gets so blurred. And so it's just whatever works for you. For me, I don't work from a space that I do anything else in. So I'm kind of big about spaces in my house. And so I have a chair that I typically will read on in the morning. So that's my reading space. When I work from home, I set my laptop and I set my desk up in a space where I don't do anything else in. And so it just helps me mentally transition versus everything kind of running together. And, I'm thinking about things at work and home, and it can kind of get all meshed together a little bit. And so really being diligent about kind of separating those spaces so that you can really get right into what you need to do, have a clear mind on it has been really helpful for me. So that's definitely one thing I'd recommend.
Yes, I find that to be very true in my own life, that having different spaces set aside for different activities really helps mentally transitioning from thing to thing.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. Yeah.
Very good advice.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us today, Brad, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Great to talk with you a little bit this afternoon.
You as well. If you would like to learn more about Arlo security cameras or have Arlo cameras installed by Kosciusko Connect, call 574-269-0327 and our Kosciusko Connect team will be happy to assist you. You have been listening to Connected Conversations, the official podcast of Kosciusko Connect. From all of us at Kosciusko Connect, thank you for connecting with us today.